Alright, so let's just wait in our room while Mel presumably feeds Morgana up in the tower. We're gonna have a little talk, and I don't know if it's gonna end up violent, but we'll see what happens. The winter has receded and spring is well upon the land. There's still a sharp chill to the night air. Even with the windows shut, the wind still manages to slip through the cracks, making the candle flame waver. Neither Giselle nor I say much of anything. But nevertheless, when she does speak, the sound of her voice, soft and pleasant, relaxes my nerves. The faint sound of her breathing reminds me I'm not alone and that she's there, always watching over me. When the candle is about half gone, the door swings open. Sorry it took so long. What did you want to talk about? You didn't bring anyone with you? No, I didn't. Who do you think I would bring? Your friends, Yukimasa and Jekipo? No one. I was just checking. Now, I'll get straight to the point. You're afflicted with a great deal of remorse, so you're not, Mel? Pardon? I know what you're doing, what you're involved in. I know the girl at the top of the observation tower very well. Her name is Morgana, and you have her imprisoned in the tower. The door requires 3 keys to open, of which you possess 1. You need her for her miracle blood. How? I came here to stop you. How do you know any of that? It's not possible. She could have told anyone. Did one of them tell you? No, wasn't them. I was told all of this by Morgana himself. Or herself, not himself. How could she? What I'm about to tell you is gonna seem impossible, but every word of it is truth. I'm not from this time. Oh, here we go again. Many years after her death, Morgana's soul told me what happened to her. What are you even talking about? She's still alive. You're not from this time. What? Are you mad? Can you come up with any other explanation for how I would know everything I know? There's a single window in the room at the top of the tower. A small, insignificant thing that sits high upon the wall, entirely useless for communicating with the outside world. In 3 days' time, during the harvest festival, Morgana will die. And I must prevent that from happening. Prevent it? To do that, I need your key. Will you give it to me? There you go. You're talking nonsense again. You know I warned you not to kick up any dust for your own sake. But I guess that didn't get through, huh? I don't care who you are or where you came from. All that matters is that you intend to stand in our way. What, did you think I was just a helpless little boy? Did you come take my key without any trouble? Well, you'd be right about that. If it was only me stealing my key and setting her free, it would be a trivial matter. But it's not only me. And the other two, they won't hesitate to kill you. Your life, anyone's life, means nothing to them. You don't know what they're like, how terrifying they can be. They're killers. I'll tell them everything you told me. I'll tell them you know our secret. And don't come crying to me when they come for you. I warned you. Is that what you want? Will you find the comfort you seek by being their devoted little slave and keeping Morgana imprisoned in that tower? What else can I? If you feel at all ashamed about your part in this, if you want to do something to correct it, then you need to take that step. You can't fix this problem on your own, no. But I'm here to help. I'm not ashamed about anything. Don't lie to yourself. Don't act like you know how I feel. What the hell is your deal anyway? You show up out of nowhere spouting all this, I'll save you and I'm here to help rubbish. You need to do this. For your sister. See, now that's ridiculous. If I wash my hands of this, I won't have access to the witch's blood anymore. And well, that Nellie can't get better. She'll die without that blood. Her blood has no miraculous healing powers. You only believe it does, making it appear to work. You're mad. Morgana's blood is not curing Nellie. In fact, it may very well be killing her. If you keep giving her that blood, Nellie will also lose her life during the Harvest Festival. What? You're standing on the precipice of a horrific tragedy, and you're gonna take everyone down with you if you don't turn back now. What are you? All three of you are going to lose everything on the day of the festival, and there's only one way to prevent that. You have to set Morgana free. You're insane. You think I would believe that? Nellie's going to die? Could you have told me a more mean-spirited lie? You're the one who's trying to kill her. I'm just trying to save her. You're going about it entirely the wrong way. Do you have any idea how lonely your sister is right now? You should be at her side. That's what you should be doing instead of stealing a poor girl's blood. I've heard enough. What do you know? If I lose Nellie, I'll have no one. The whole world will collapse. This was the only way I could keep that from happening. This was my best option, my only option. So no, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep Morgana locked up. I'm going to keep stealing her blood. I will hand you over to the other two. I'll have them kill you. You'll regret ever showing your face. Mel, is that really true? What? Do you really have the Saintess locked up? Why? What are you doing here, Nellie? That man told me I had to talk to you, and he said if I didn't have the courage to do it myself, to wait outside his room tonight because he was gonna get the truth from you. Ah, okay, that's what he said. That's what that was the little thing that was hidden from us. What he whispered to Nellie there. You conniving son of a... You're planning on this all along. Why would you tell Nellie? Why would you bring her of all people into this? Mel. Tell me, Mel, is it true? Nellie, are you really keeping the Saintess prisoner and stealing her blood? And you said you would have him killed. I never thought you were such a terrible person, Mel. I can't believe you do such despicable things. No, you're not my brother anymore. Nellie! Michelle, go after her. Save. Save. So this seems to be a branching point as well. I mean, we should do the opposite of what, we should do the opposite of what Giselle told us. Because I want to see what happens if we just stay here. Probably bad things. Let's see. Let's stay here. Whee! We can't leave him alone. Not like this. Why? Why did it have to turn out like this? Mel, calm down. You need to go after her, tell her the truth. Explain to her how you got involved in this. Why? Mel! It's all because you had to go and spill everything. You have to come clean, you have to do it now. Remember what I said? If you don't act at the Harvest Festival, everything was just fine the way it was. But then you had to show up out of nowhere and ruin everything. You honestly think things were fine as they were? Of course they were, Mel. Be quiet. Shut up, damn you. What the hell's your problem anyway? I told you to keep your head down, didn't I? If you hadn't said anything to Nellie. If you weren't here... Mel, please calm down. Mel, you ruined everything. You made a gigantic mess out of my life. Go after Nellie now. If you explain yourself, there's still time to fix things. What do you know? She's just a kid. A little girl who dreams about being a princess and having me for her prince. You destroyed that dream. There's no fixing it. Mel, it's all your fault. With a savage roar, Mel swipes a candlestick off the stand. He rips the candle free, throwing it aside to reveal a metal rod with a sharp tip. Michelle, this is all on you. I'll take care of you myself. Don't do this, Mel. You're better than that. Shut up. You don't know me. You don't know a damn thing about me. I do. I know you wouldn't deliberately harm anyone. Is that what you think? What did I tell you? You don't know me at all. I can too. You bet I can. Put that down, Mel. Everyone thinks I'm completely helpless, that I can't do a single thing for myself. Mel. Well, you know what? I can. It's not like I got anything to lose now. Drop the candlestick, Mel. Don't do this. There's still time. All is not lost yet. Put the candlestick down. Good. Mel's trembling from head to toe. I step forward slowly, trying not to aggravate him any further. I reach out and grab the candlestick in his hand. I could feel it shaking through the cool metal. His fingers were not made to grip weapons. His hands not made to point them at people. Tools meant to cause others harm, instead act upon him. Let go. Mel. The tension dissipates from his arm, and his grip on the candlestick goes loose. Go find Nellie and tell her the truth. She'll hear you out, I'm certain of it. You never wanted to be involved in this, and she will understand. You're a good man, she knows. You've misjudged me. What? Me? A good man. If I was such a good person, I wouldn't be holding this thing in the first place. Michelle! Michelle, not again. It's the second game over. What's going on out there? My gaze slides downward. As it turns out, Mel, the thing is, in the first story, in the very beginning of the game, he didn't seem like a very violent person, right? He seems the least culpable of Morgana's whole ordeal, but actually, no, I guess he's willing to kill. He's willing to kill us. My gaze slides downward. No, please. And there I see the candlestick spike. Protruding from my neck. No, don't. You can't. Hanging there. No, please. Why, Michelle? No, Michelle. Michelle! Blood trickles down the gold bronze shaft. As soon as my mind registers this fact, excruciating pain radiates in hot waves from the wound. I make to say something, but all that comes out is a choked gurgle. My ability to speak completely stripped away. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't actually mean to. I'm so sorry. Mel, frantically apologizing, grows hazy. The world twists and contorts around me. I fall to my knees. Michelle. And then the rest of me hits the floor. Michelle, please be okay. I'm begging you. Giselle. You're still with me. Good. We need a doctor. Mel, listen to me. Mel, you need to get someone. Why can't I get through to him? Why can't I be there? Why do I have to be stuck here? Please, Michelle, I beg you, hold on. I can't bear to lose you. Michelle. No, please, don't leave me. Giselle. I'm sorry I failed you. Please. This is what he's like. I didn't mean to stab you, right in the neck. Right in the what do you call it? Artery? I don't know what you call it, but the thing where it pumps a lot of blood, and then if you hit it, obviously you die because you lose all of the blood. Michelle, I'm sorry I couldn't. Michelle, get you out of. No, you can't. No. Snake. It keeps reminding me every time. Snake. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway. Alright, so obviously that was the wrong thing to do. I was on Mel's side, actually, for the most part. For most of this game, I was just thinking he was mostly a victim, not really like didn't have the capacity to be evil, but as it turns out, never mind. He's willing to stab me in my neck, so you know what? My sympathy for Mel has lowered by at least 50%, At least 50%. Or however you would quantify that, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, well, we should probably go back here, listen to Giselle this time, and go after Nellie. That's probably what we should do. Oop. Go after the sane person, not the crazy one that is going to be incredibly violent and unpredictable. We have to stop her. Bring her back. Go. Run, run, run. Nelly. Don't follow me. Just go away. Leave me alone. Stop. If we run away from him now, Mel will never come back from this. Then, why did you tell me? Why did you tell me what he was doing? If you hadn't said anything, everything would still be fine. We wouldn't be in this horrible mess. If you hadn't said anything, I could have kept on believing in him. No, things wouldn't be fine. Why can you not see that? You shouldn't put your faith in your ideal brother, but your real one, the boy in that room stricken with regret. If I hadn't said anything, the facade would have ruined you both sooner or later. No, in truth, your relationship was already broken. You were simply ignoring the spreading cracks. I know. On some level, you have realized that Mel was keeping something incredibly important from you. And that, and that. I mean, it kind of makes, I mean, it's not actually grammatically wrong. It's rather, he says like, and that secret. I don't know, it's weird to me. But it's like, I did at some level that I was getting a incredible secret from you, and that secret was tearing you apart, and that secret was tearing you apart, I guess. You're tearing me apart, Lisa. There's nothing good about this, though. We'll never go back to the way we were. We can never go back to what it was like when we were kids. Just the two of us, playing together every day, having fun. Everyone's childhood comes to an end. The flow of time is impartial. You can't fight it. What you can do, what only you can do, is choose how you change. But... I will admit, I am the one who opened your wounds, and now I'm putting the responsibility of tending to them onto you. It's cruel, I know. But if you don't come to terms with Mel and make him withdraw his participation, even greater suffering awaits you far in the future. It's not over yet, and you cannot let this be where it ends. The bonds you formed over the years are not yet broken, and you can do what I was never able to. You can still repair your relationship. But I'm scared. Scared that my brother, that my Mel could do such terrible things. That he could say he would kill you. And he did, you know, in one save, but anyway. Last time, anyway. He used to be such a good brother. He was always so kind, so friendly to everyone. But it was all a lie. It was all a big act to fool me. No, it was not all an act. There was truth to it. He is a kind-hearted boy, an ordinary young man, whose kindness was twisted by circumstance. It doesn't matter how good a person someone is. Everyone has the potential to do terrible things when backed into a corner. And you think you know everything. I know that much. Nelly, if you want your brother back, you have to act now. Please, you must take action. But I'm scared. What am I supposed to say to him? I don't know. I'll be there with you. You don't have to face this alone. And when he tries to stab me in the neck, at least there's gonna be a witness, you know, that at the very least, if I die, you can stand in court for testimony. There's more to this story than we've heard. We don't know how he got himself involved in this, and I mean to get the rest of it out of him. And you need to be there to hear it. When I hear what he has to say, I try to say something I shouldn't. If I try to say something that will ruin everything, you'll stop me. You're the one who told me to open my eyes and face him. You're the one who made this whole mess. What am I supposed to do if all this destroys everything I have? You said you were my brother, right? So be a good brother and help me out here. Promise me, you'll make sure nothing goes bad. You'll do that, won't you? I shall. Just say yes. We won't let this go bad. Have faith in yourself. Faith that you put the relationship on track to recovering. Promise her. Give her the courage she wants from you. You have nothing to fear. I'll be there for you. I'll help you both. Okay, I'll do it. I'll go back. Thank you, Giselle. No, don't mention it. Now let's go see what he has to say for himself. Let's draw back that curtain. Yes, let's. Nelly. Mel, what did you come back for? To ridicule me? I'm not the brother you thought I was, huh? Not at all what you wanted me to be. It's all over. Everything Michelle says is true. There's a girl imprisoned in the tower. A completely innocent girl. A girl who saved your life, in fact. Go on. Tell me how cruel and terrible and evil I am. I'm no prince. Here's an idea. Why don't you make him your new prince? You can do it, Nelly. Ask him. You have your reasons, don't you? You have some reason for being part of this, right? Reason? Yeah, I have a reason, alright. I wanted to save your life. I needed her blood to cure you, so I had her locked up. Tell me the truth. I don't remember much about when the Saintess came to visit, but I do remember a little. I remember her saying she would gladly give whatever she could to the sick and needy, which means you had no need to lock her up. Yeah, that was a burning question in my head as well. Why do all of this, in the first place? Because according to Morgana anyway, she was going to give the blood in the first place. Why bother cutting off her arm and stuff like that? What I'm thinking, I have a theory. Well, they're probably going to say it pretty soon, but I guess there will be another reason. It's not just Mel being evil, It would seem that tell Morgana showed me was true. She really was a saint. Yes, she was. Tell me the truth, Mel. Tell me everything. There's nothing to tell. There is, I know it. There's more to a story than just the facts. The things you thought, the things you felt, are all pieces that combine to make the whole story. Is that right, Michelle? You're exactly right. If you hadn't said anything, we could have gone on with our lives as normal. No, Mel, we couldn't have. I thought so too at first, but it's not true. Our normal lives ended long ago. Tell me the truth, Mel. No matter what it is, I can handle it. No, Nelly, you can't. A girl like you who dreams of becoming a princess couldn't possibly bear to see how hideous her brother has become. How can I know if you don't say anything, though? That's how it's always been with us. You were nice to me and that was all I needed. I never looked beyond the surface. I made you into my ideal brother and I latched onto that image of you. You're a kind person, Mel, you really are. So kind you play along in my fantasy that you were a prince. You don't have to act for me anymore. I want to know the real you. I'm all done being a princess. I'm just your little sister now, nothing more. Your one and only little sister, Mel. You need to do this, Mel. You need to tell your story. Until you do, we have no way of understanding what you've been through, what you're going through. No way, if I tell you, you'll lose any hope you hadn't left in me. As Nelly has, you need to release yourself from your own idealized fantasy, Mel. You have someone right here who will accept you for who you are. I know good and well just how hard it can be to have someone dear to you see a side of you that you didn't want to show them. There was the whole thing about it. I think you want to get it off your chest, though. And I think you want forgiveness. Fantasies are not everlasting. They all crumble away eventually. Show us the real Mel. Tell us your story, without embellishments or omissions. Mel. Okay, I'll tell you. Not like I have any other options. Nelly, if at any point you can't bear to hear anymore, so be it. You're free to leave whenever you like. I won't go anywhere. I can almost guarantee you. I pray that it ends up being true. Alright, here he goes. The whole story from start to finish, of how I ended up in this mess. Okay. Is it like exposition time? Exposition time, wee! Well, more like a flashback, I guess. Alright, this is longer than I thought, by the way. I thought I would be done with this game pretty soon, but as it turns out, whoops. Nope. You get to time travel now. Like, huh? So this is just like the Mel's story. Probably gonna learn about Yukimasa and Jacob next. So it's kind of like a circle, because we've learned about their stories in the beginning of the game. Now we get to learn about their stories again, but the original cells at the end too. So I imagine it's gonna be maybe not as long, but it's gonna be like quite a bit still. Well, until around the time I turned 17, my life was mostly uneventful. On days when it was nice out, I would take walks around the house's grounds, sometimes napping beneath a tree. It was picturesque, and you were always there with me. You have the same flax-colored hair as me, but yours always seemed to glisten in the sun, whereas mine is flat and dull. You shone like a tiny little dancing sun. At the time, I assumed that was how life would always be. I genuinely wanted it to be. Following my 17th birthday, though, I was met with a deluge of changes. Deluge. First, father fell ill and passed away shortly thereafter. With his death came the question of who would be the next head. As the oldest son, normally it would fall on me to take his place. I was 17, by all means enough of an adult to handle things myself. Or well, that's what I thought anyway. Nobody else did though. After the discussions I had no part in, it was decided that my uncle would be the next head. That they weren't confident I had the spine to do the job properly. I wasn't sure what to think. Part of me wanted to know why nobody bothered talking to me, and part of me was relieved. Somewhere inside I knew I didn't have what it took. So I was more than happy to let someone else take that responsibility. If it meant I could go on with my quiet life, I didn't care who they picked. My uncle, though, seemed to have caught on to my apathy, which he did not take kindly to, and in response he formally disowned me. You're not the only one who still had some growing up to do, Nelly. I wasn't quite the adult I thought I was either. Fortunately, if you want to call it fortune, I was given enough money to live on for a decent length of time, as well as a place to stay. It was a small house, far from home, his way of making it hard for me to come back. Not that I had any intention of returning. But the best thing to come out of it all was you coming with me, Nelly. So this is our new home, dearest Mel. Yep, so it is. It's amazing how little there is. No big yard, no paintings, no vases full of colorful flowers, no silver bowls full of fresh picked fruit. But there is you and me. You're not gonna go and say you want to return home in a couple of months when you realize life isn't as luxurious here as it was back there, are you? There's only one thing in the whole wide world I really need. Oh? Honestly, I can live without shiny shoes or pretty dresses like mother wears. I don't need composers to come write me songs for my birthday. As long as I have the one thing that matters most to me, I can do without anything else. Are you saying... I'm as happy as I've ever been. I don't need all that fancy, expensive stuff. We may not have a huge yard, but the sun shines everywhere. Flowers can grow even without a gardener tending to them. Nelly, I'll do whatever I can for you, dearest Mel. Are you hungry? I'm hungry. Oh, yeah, a bit. Alright, I'll make something then. Start with some fruit jam, and maybe make a pie out of it. What else sounds good? I'm craving cookies. We're just eating sweets all day. I don't know if it's healthy. You've got quite the sweet tooth. You're gonna make yourself sick like that. Hey, get it? Because she's going to be sick anyway. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe she just got diabetes. That's literally what the disease was. She has diabetes. Now, that's the first smile I've seen since we got here. What? That can't be right. I'm sure I've been smiling. Nope, you've been frowning all day. Well, whatever you say. Forget about all that stuff at home. We've got each other. We can do this. Who cares that we're not rich anymore? We'll figure things out in no time. And then we'll have even more fun than we did back there. Yeah, you're right. It'll all work out, dearest Mel. I'll always be here for you. You've got yourself an adorable little princess. What more could you possibly need? Cheer up. No, we're gonna need money. We're gonna need money, Nelly. Well, thanks. I'm really glad you decided to come with me. Did you think for a second I wouldn't? I'm your princess, dearest Mel. And princesses belong with their princess. I suppose so. Until that day, I had never known how good it felt to have someone who wanted me in their life. Who saw me for me. I realized with her side how blessed I had always been. I was hardly prince material. I wasn't strong or handsome or regal enough for that. But Nelly calling me her prince gave me the illusion of being worth something. It made me feel like I could keep on being that richly blessed young man, even this far away from home. While I had been given some money, my supply was far from infinite. Well, you gotta make sure you invest properly, Mel. Make sure that the money doesn't just get all used up. I knew I would eventually have to find some kind of work, some way to support myself and Nelly. But to be quite honest, I couldn't gather the motivation to do much of anything. My whole life had changed so abruptly, so dramatically, that my mind just wasn't able to keep up. It knocked me on my backside. I didn't have the strength to get back up. I couldn't tell Nelly that, of course, so this is what I said instead. I'm staying home because I want to be with you as much as possible. And she happily took me at my word. Our new life together was quiet and unremarkable. Even so, it was still a constant stream of new experiences for the two of us, having been pampered our entire lives. You better start a farm. You know, you're gonna run out of money. Gotta make sure you're growing some food. Hey, welcome there, Smell. What did you buy today? I got a chicken. Wow, I've never seen one up so close before. Are you gonna keep it as a pet? I was planning on using it for supper. What? You're gonna cook it? That's the idea. You like chicken though, don't you? Steamed especially, if I remember right. Yes, but... it's alive. But it's all covered in feathers and flapping about. How are we supposed to cook it? Well, first you defeather it. You know? You rip the feathers apart. And then you chop its head. Now, if I remember, the guy said you have to pluck his feathers, then cut off his head and drain all the blood. Oh, no way. Absolutely not. Not a million years. You do it, Mel. What? I've never done this before. Well, I'm not, so you do it. Alright. I'll bring it to the... Not inside. Do it outside. Okay. Just murdering a chicken. Huh? I've never had to slaughter a chicken before. The chefs back home always took care of it. God, I hope I don't screw this up. Well, I'm not gonna accomplish anything if I just sit here worrying. Just gotta give it my best shot. Oh, please. Please don't put up a fight. I can't watch. The count of 3, okay? Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait! Come back! Ah, the chicken escaped. Our food, our dinner. It's gone. I wonder what's for dinner. Turns out it's nothing. At first I was just fumbling about in the dark, constantly messing up everything I tried. But in time I started getting more comfortable with things and I stopped pining for my old life. For the longest time I couldn't shake the memory of the fact that I had once been a noble. I was constantly wondering how I had ended up there, why this was happening to me. Nelly had seemed to just have adjusted very quickly, but I wasn't faring so well. I was surprised, honestly. I figured if anyone was going to have an issue with our new lifestyle, it was going to be her, not me. Back home, Nelly had tended to be, well, a bit of a princess. She was frequently harsh with the Abigail, scolding them for the smallest of things. There were times I thought she might be biting her tongue for my sake, but every time it crossed my mind, she would say, "I've got you, dearest Mel. Everything's just fine," or "I've got you," rather. It was those words that kept me going. Oh, dearest Mel, I just had the most wonderful idea. Would you like to hear it? Sure, what's your idea? We should get married. What? You can't be serious. As serious gets. I mean, we're basically married already and everything but name. We can't do that, we're siblings. Nobody here needs to know that. Okay, nobody needs to know that. Wink, nah. They can guess from my hair and eye color, though. I don't think we look that much alike. Anyway, whatever gave you that idea? If we get married, then we'll be together forever. We can do just as well as brother and sister. It's not the same, though. No one ever says two siblings live happily ever after. That's a very I don't know what you call it, but like, that's a line. You know, that's a line that kind of sticks out to me. No one ever says two siblings live happily ever after. That could just be the tagline for Mel and Nelly's story in general. Anyway. I want to be with you for the rest of my life, dearest Mel. And the best way to do that is to get married. But Nelly, what are you so hesitant for? Is there someone you pine for? No, but... Then there's no problem. We're blood-related siblings. She realized that getting married means eventually having children and everything that leads up to that? That goes against the teachings of the Lord, you know, and also just in general, genetics. No, she's still just a kid chasing after a fairy tale ending. She doesn't understand the reality of what she's saying. Sometimes I'm not sure what to do with you, Nelly. So you marry me? But right now, I know you need God's word. Sorry tonight, you're getting your own private sermon every night, understand? You all need Jesus, you know? You all need Jesus. Bleh. My instruction was as much for my sake as it was for Nelly's. I'm not going to lie, the thought did cross my mind that her proposition might not be so bad. For one, I couldn't imagine spending the rest of my life with anyone else, and it had been her smile that kept me going when things got difficult. But I knew that it was a sin, and I think I'd be able to live myself if I crossed that line. So night after night I taught her, reminded her that we are brother and sister. You know, actually I wonder, does the Bible actually say that? That sibling love is forbidden? I don't know if it says that. I have no idea though. Because as far as I know, let's just say incest between nobility wasn't uncommon. You know, so it happens anyway. But so night after night I taught her, reminded her that we were brother and sister, and asked that we didn't have to be anything more for her to be the most important person in the world to me. And after about our third month away from home, that life began crumbling. Nelly woke up one day with a high fever that refused to break. At first I thought it was just a cold and that she'd be over it soon enough. But as much as I tried to convince myself, oh, she'll be better tomorrow, or she just kept getting worse until eventually she couldn't even get out of bed. She had visibly lost weight. I'd never heard her voice so weak and lethargic before. Is there anything you'd like me to get you, Nelly? All I want is you to be here with me, dearest Mel. You really should eat something. I'll make something you like. How about a nice expensive chicken? The last one got away, but I won't let that happen this time. I'm not really in the mood for anything too heavy. Oh, okay. Don't you worry, Mel. I'll be better before you know it. Yeah, you will. You'll be just fine. Everything's gonna be back to normal soon. Watching Nelly grow weaker every day scared the hell out of me. I desperately did not want to lose her. If I lost her, then who would be left that wanted me? Who would tell me I was worth something? Who would say nice things about me? Who would be there with me every day? Just when I started feeling optimistic about this new life, started to feel comfortable in it, it was looking like it might fall apart again. I searched everywhere for some medicine that could cure her. Healthy foods, fruits and vegetables, supposed medicinal properties, anything I could get my hands on. I prayed. And Nelly, you were overjoyed. You were thrilled I would go to such lengths for you. But the reality is, I was really doing it for myself. I mean, I guess this is like, you know, basically Mel is a people pleaser, I guess, is the idea. But, you know, not really doing it all for himself. He's just saying that because he has such low self-confidence, but that's not completely the case, anyway. But as much as I searched, I couldn't find anything that worked, and I started to panic. I would go to bed at night afraid I'd wake up the next morning and Nelly wouldn't. I was already grasping at straws and was ready to try anything that even had the slightest chance of curing her. And then one day I heard whispers. Whispers of a witch who lived by the lake. They say she was a recluse, that she hardly ever left her house, and that she hadn't been down to the city in years. They told me she might have some medicinal herbs that could help, so I rushed down to the lake to see her. Okay. Well, technically that was the old witch, you know, the witch that lived in that house that Morgana found. The original witch is already dead, but... Sitting by the shore was a small cottage, even less luxurious than where Nelly and I were living at the time. Seeing the thin trails of smoke rising from the chimney, I was convinced the rumors were true. A witch lived in that house. I wasn't sure what to expect. Being a recluse, I figured she wasn't going to be very sociable at least. To tell you the truth, I was kind of scared to knock on her door. But I exhausted all my other options, so I clenched my teeth and gave the door 2 firm raps. Who's there? The sound of her voice caught me off guard, and all I could do was stare at the door with a knot in my throat. Based on the information I had, I assumed I was going to find a wrinkly old woman, but that was the voice of a young girl. Even though she only said 2 words, there was something undescribably enchanting about that voice. Everyone seems to say that, I guess, about Morgana. I could listen to her talk for hours on end in some kind of strange hypnotic trance. It was almost like magic, for a lack of a better word. I stood there dumbfounded, like my soul had been sucked from my body. "Who's there?" She repeated her question, which brought me back to reality, though I still had to fight to maintain my wits enough to respond coherently. My sister had fallen very ill, and she desperately needs medicine. I was told that the person who lives here is a skilled herbalist. Could I please get somebody to treat her? What are her symptoms? She's got extremely high fever that won't come down. She has no appetite. She's only drinking water, and she can't get out of bed. We're gonna want to lower her fever first. After that, get her on a nutritious diet. You know, how does Morgana know this, by the way? She did find this cottage herself, and then, you know, technically became the new herbalist witch or whatever. And there's like a bunch of like, obviously medicinal stuff inside that house. But how does she know what to do? Well, I don't know. Maybe she learned. Maybe back at when she was at that brothel, you know, when a bunch of people taking care of her before, you know, it was raided and everything, and everyone was killed. But before that, you know, I guess maybe she learned how to take care of people with that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to give you 2 medications. Give her the first while her fever is high, and the second after it's come down. Oh, thank you very much. Her voice wasn't bright and energetic like Nellie's. It was more restrained, somber and quiet, yet simultaneously clear and sharp. The sound tickled my curiosity. I wanted to know what she looked like. I wanted to know what kind of girl stood on the other side of that door. Apparently, you know, her face is not, you know, great looking because patches of skin have fallen off. So, you know, I guess, you know, don't you always hear that phrase that your face is made for radio, you know? I think it's an insult because apparently they're saying you're ugly. But it's kind of true. Apparently Morgana has a great voice. But let's just say her skincare has been not great, you know? Can't really fix that skin anymore because of her childhood of, you know, people literally taking her blood and leaving her to rot for a long time, so it kind of caused some permanent damage. But anyway, with a voice that pretty, she must be equally lovely, I thought. I had to see it for myself. And my wish didn't fall on deaf ears. When she opened the door to hand me the herbal medicine and take my money, her head peeked out between the crack ever so slightly. I said I would tell you everything exactly as it happened, so I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. It was unsettling. It was nothing like I had imagined from her voice. Her skin had, I guess, fallen off or something, because you could see the raw red flesh beneath. To say it was hard to look at would be an understatement. Most of her face was covered by a black hood, so all I could see was her mouth and chin, but even that was much harrowing. But the last thing I wanted to do was look away. For all I knew, that was why she had become a recluse. I couldn't let myself hurt her, so I suppressed my own disgust and put on my best smile. People often tell me I have a very pleasant, amiable smile, so I figured I could use that to prevent her from picking up on what was actually going through my mind. Okay, interesting. Because from Morgana's perspective, she was, you know, surprised that he wasn't disgusted by her, you know, because everyone else was. So she was actually, you know, I don't know what the word is, but respect? Maybe? I don't know what the word is, but, you know, she liked the fact that Mel didn't just immediately just barf, I guess, after seeing her face. But obviously Mel did think the same thing, I guess. Even he wasn't, you know, the open-minded person that Morgana thought he was. Anyway, so we gotta put it over again with the glass going through my mind. And when she saw my face, a look of surprise seemed to cross hers. The witch's herbs did indeed seem to help some. Going to visit her was better than talking to any of the local doctors. Nonetheless, Nellie hadn't been cured. She was only feeling a little bit better. So I kept praying the witch visits, kept purchasing more herbs from her. And every time I went to the cottage and heard her sweet voice, I imagined how much sweeter it would sound without the door obstructing it. Even knowing what she looked like didn't stop the curiosity from growing within me. From what I gathered talking to her, there wasn't much of an age difference between us either. She was 16 and I was 17. And I'm sure you know how it is. When you meet someone around your age, you feel a sort of sense of kinship. This girl I had originally believed to be some sort of kind of otherworldly witch was starting to feel like a regular person like me. Through our conversations, I managed to learn her name, as well as the fact that she had come here from a faraway country. We were both long away from home. Thinking she might open up even more to someone who had been through a similar experience, I decided to try inviting her to go on a walk with me. It's not healthy to stay holed up inside all the time. You got this beautiful lake right here. What do you say we take a little walk around the shoreline? To my surprise, she accepted. Oh, there she is, Morgana. Great weather, isn't it? I love the way the sun reflects off the surface of the lake. It's gorgeous. You know, I kind of sympathize with Morgana, though, at least her skin problem, anyway. I mean, obviously, I sympathize for her entire tragedy, but in particular, her face, because it's not equivalent at all, but, I definitely had really bad acne, when I was a teenager, so it's basically that, It's basically just having bad acne, when you think about it. Are you okay? I'm in this disbelief, to tell you the truth. Huh? What for? You've seen my face. You know how hideous I am, and you still invited me on a walk. You're a very peculiar person. Is it really that strange? I mean, we're almost the same age, so I figured we might make pretty good friends. You want to make friends? With me? Well, sure. We've been through a lot of the same things, so we can understand each other better than most. Understand each other? Yeah, we're both young, but we've been through some rough times. I'm gonna be blunt with you. You have not been through anything like I have. What? No. If you had experienced the things I have, you wouldn't be smiling right now. I haven't known you long, but I haven't known you long, but I don't need to. Have? I can't read that sentence. I'm just kind of reading it wrong, but I haven't known you long, but I don't need to have in order. I don't need to have to know. I don't know. I feel like what I want to say is like, I haven't known you for long, but I don't need to know how equivocally dissimilar we are. That's what I want to say, but that's not the sentence. But I don't need to have in order to know how unequivocally dissimilar we are. Anyway, I don't know why I don't know how to read that sentence. Anyway, that we were cut from a very different cloth. Well, yeah, we're people. We're not made of cloth, so that's not what that means, Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so harsh. In fact, I would say you're much better off not being in my position. It sounds like you've been through a lot. If you don't mind me asking, what happened to you? I'd be happy to lend an ear. It might make you feel better to get off your chest. And that is what's so different about us. Huh? I will not tell you about myself now. That said, I do appreciate the concern. Thank you. Oh, sure, you're welcome. She's not very open with people, huh? Though I guess that's only to be expected. She hasn't spent much time around other people, looking the way she does. I wonder if there's anything I can do for her. At least get her to show you a little bit of emotion. Say, it was not too much to ask. You think we could maybe do this again sometime? Don't expect me to lower my prices. I'm not trying to squeeze a better deal out of you. I just want to get to know you better. Nothing more to it. No ulterior motives, promise. Did you forget I've already said I won't be telling you about myself? Alright then, it doesn't have to be about you. We can talk about anything, whatever you want. Do you have a favorite food? Any hobbies? Nothing in particular. Oh, that was a fruitful conversation? Okay, crap. I have no interest or taste worth mentioning, so if you want to talk, I suppose that leaves you to be the subject. Me? Tell me about yourself. My life's not all that exciting. Anything I had to tell you would probably just bore you. I'm not looking for excitement. Okay. Well, alright then, I guess I can tell you about myself. And so I did. I told her about my family situation, I told her about Nelly, and that was pretty much all I had to talk about. For the most part, she hardly even reacted to anything I said, so it was difficult to tell if she was listening or not. But she would urge me to continue whenever I go quiet for more than a few moments, so I suppose she was listening. Every time I came to purchase more medicine, we would go on a walk around the lake together. A single loop around the shoreline didn't give us much time to talk, but my attempts to reduce our walking pace or stop to extend our time together were flatly ignored, and she refused to go around more than once, claiming it would disturb her daily rhythm. That said, she never refused an invitation either, so I don't think she particularly disliked me. Yet anyway,